Okay, it is 5:30, so I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we're going to start with the invocation. So those that would like to participate, please stand. And Pastor Decker, if you could give the invocation, please.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for the opportunity to come before you tonight just to ask for your help for our city. Father, you've said in your word that if we would humble ourselves and pray and seek your face and turn from our wicked ways, then you would hear from heaven and heal our land. So, Father, we humbly ask you and acknowledge you as God and Creator tonight. We acknowledge we aren't worthy to come before your presence and ask, but we ask in the name of Jesus Christ the righteous, who is worthy. And we ask for your help. We ask that we would be seeking you, and God, that you would put your hand of blessing upon our city. We ask, Father, that you would help us and forgive us for our sins and our wicked ways. Father, we ask that you would be able to just give great wisdom to each city council member, our mayor, all of our civil servants, as they make decisions for the city. God, that you would bring in a wave of just your blessing and good prosperity for the city. God, we pray and continue to pray for protection for our police and fire, those that deal with the dangerous situations in our city. We ask for your help on them. And God, we ask that you would bless the meeting tonight. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Chris, who would take the roll, please?
Councilmember Reed. Councilmember Reed.
Here.
Councilmember Galloway. Here. Councilmember Hoffman.
Here.
Councilmember Dupre.
Here.
Councilmember Cavanis.
Here.
Mayor Foote.
Here. Before we get into the consent agenda, I do want to remind you that if you are here to speak on any of the agenda items, I would ask you to fill out an agenda form. They're in the basket right on that front banister. And when you get those filled out, they can get those up to me so that I know which topic you want to talk about. So with that, I move to consent agenda part 1. Do I have a motion to approve consent agenda part 1?
Move to approve.
Second.
Is there any questions, comments, discussion?
I just have one question. And Amal, I apologize, I didn't get to you earlier. On the B4 for the rezoning for the, I know you're going to have a public hearing. Can you tell me what neighborhood that's in? It's the one for the recycling.
It's not a neighborhood. This is to amend the code to allow that type of use by condition.
Okay, I see. So it's just, it's not in a neighborhood, it's in a,
Citywide,
okay.
any district that is a C2 would be applicable.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up.
So then with that, I guess I have a question. Could you define recycling processing? What does that include?
It would be a process of recycling and operation. Operation that includes collection and doing some sort of a process.
Mhm.
It's all recycling. So.
Okay. And so then with this, and granted, this is just for the public hearing, not the actual decision, right?
Correct. This is to set a date for public hearing.
Okay.
Since it's an ordinance, we'll have 3 readings.
Okay. And then at this time, we'd be making a decision whether to allow recycling centers to be part of a C2 zoned property anywhere in the city. Is that what I understand?
No, it would be giving the city flexibility to
Mhm.
consider on a case by case and
Mhm.
giving the planning and zoning commission the authority to set conditions for approval. It will require making sure we have a public hearing and listening and reviewing because not all sites are the same, not all operations are the same. So it would be an opportunity to be flexible as a community to see what use is appropriate where.
Sure. So that's what conditional use means. Right. Yeah. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Anything else? Chris, if you would take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
So moving on to consent agenda part 2, do I have a motion to approve consent agenda part 2?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Chris, if you would take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
No.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
So with this, we move to the approval of agenda. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Chris, if you would take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
And now for the administrator's report. So Administrator Rath, I'm going to change positions on you.
All right, sounds good. Tonight, I have the pleasure of introducing the fire department swearing-in ceremony. And so we'll have a couple of new members and a promotional.
Good evening, Mayor Foote, ladies and gentlemen, City Council, Administrator Rath. The fire service is rich in tradition and has a fascinating history. Tonight is where it all starts. This is where we make an impression and have an impact. This is where we set the tempo for what's coming up in a firefighter's new career. Some departments hold this for new members in the very beginning, or they wait till they are finished. But either way, it's important. So tonight we are confirming to these new candidates that they are about to become part of a very special family, which is the Ottumwa Fire Department and the American Fire Service. These candidates will be put through an arduous training program to include fire suppression, emergency medical techniques, driver's training, community risk reduction, as well as daily physical fitness programs. Tonight, we're here to welcome candidate firefighter Stephen Conley, candidate firefighter Austin Thomas, and candidate firefighter Daniel Geider. Gentlemen, please go up to the dais. Yes, we're ready for you, sir.
This will be a repeat after me. When I stop, that's where you say your name. And we'll just repeat it back. Okay, so just raise your right hand. So I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability, discharge all duties of firefighter of the city of Ottumwa, Iowa, as now and hereafter required by law. Good job. Congratulations.
Tonight, we are also here to congratulate a member who has successfully achieved the milestone of promotion. This position is one of great importance, and this individual has accepted the responsibilities and risks associated with this position. The safest course almost always involves maintaining the status quo, but this individual has chosen the more difficult route. When we are inspiring to greater challenges and responsibilities, we hope for rewards, but the reality is that we also acknowledge the risk of failure. So we pledge to work harder, learn more, and dedicate ourselves even more fully to the job. I know that you, Deputy Chief Cronin, have done exactly this. So congratulations this evening on striving to become a better civil servant, a public servant for the city of Ottumwa.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, that I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability, discharge all duties of Deputy Chief of the City of Ottumwa, Iowa, as now and hereafter required by law. Congratulations.
I saw Dan.
All right. I know we've got quite a few other things on the agenda tonight. So congratulations to new firefighters and to David Cronin for promotion. And I will turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Okay. What's that? We haven't? Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to remind you, if there is anything on the agenda you'd like to speak about, to go ahead and fill out a slip of paper. They're right in that basket at the front banister. With that, we move to the public hearing.
This is the time, place, and date set for a public hearing on the proposal to convey interest in real property to JCG Rentals LLC pursuant to a proposed purchase, sale, and development agreement related to a project within the Westgate Economic Development Urban Renewal Area.
And with that, I now open the public hearing. So, Amal.
Blurb presentation for you, Your Honor. So this is for 105, 107, 109 East Main Street development agreement. Those are city-owned properties.
Mal, we cannot hear you up here.
105, 107, and 109 East Main Street. Those are city-owned properties. The purpose of the development agreement is to make sure the redevelopment is consistent with the urban renewal area plan. Action tonight is to approve that development agreement. Prior council action, council received and filed a proposal for the project. And last meeting, we set a date for the hearing tonight. Developer is a local company, JCG. They're proposing to add 10 units, a laundromat, and a golf simulator business. They're estimating improvement to be around 3.8 million. Stipulation in the agreement that the developer will be responsible for the construction and compliance with all applicable codes. Construction completion date in the agreement is end of December of 2029. So we're giving them 3 years to complete the project. What is the city is proposing? Convey the property for $1. Developer will have to close by end of March of this year. Property is conveyed as is. After closing, they will assume all the responsibility associated with the building, maintaining, paying taxes, insuring, and all of this is in the agreement. Well, as part of the agreement, they're also signing on a minimum assessment agreement, setting the value at $1 million. This is just to make sure for long-term stability following this agreement and the redevelopment. So that minimum assessment will be for 5 years, assuming completion by 29 would be 2030 to 2035. The redevelopment or the proposed project is consistent with our strategic plan It supports downtown revitalization, advances housing, encouraging private investment in underutilized properties, enforces our commitment to long-term economic vitality of the downtown core. We always have to make sure what any action we're proposing is consistent with the plan. That's why we always highlight. Recommendation tonight is to approve the development agreement as presented. Through that agreement, we'll be authorizing conveyance of the property under the just mentioned terms. Just a little bit. This is what we presented when we presented the proposed project. Those are renderings for how the housing units would look like and the commercial space. I'll take any questions if you have any.
Is there any questions or comments from council?
I just want to say I really think this is a great project that you brought to us. I did have a couple of questions. Since I'm new at this and I've never seen a purchase agreement, did we write this or was this brought to us by the buyer?
We wrote this and it's consistent with urban renewal law and consistent with our adopted plan and making sure also we included what we would like to see, which is the project as proposed in terms of plans.
So when we write it, then our finance director looks at all of the financing and stuff of it on how the money's going to be handled.
So yes.
What it is there won't be any extra money until the property goes on the tax rolls. Right. And at that time, when it comes around, it will see the valuation go up. Right. Mm-hmm. And then by whatever that, by that amount, if it's a minimum assessment of $1 million, you divide that by 1,000. So you take 1,000 times whatever the property tax rate is. But because it's a commercial, actually what it is the first 150,000 is going to be under current code. The first 150,000 is actually taxed at the residential rate. So you take 150,000, you times it by 47%, and then you take it times the millage rate, and then the rest of it would be at actually 90% of assessed valuation.
Okay.
So I can't calculate what the money is going to be because I don't know what the levy is going to be in 2030.
Okay. I was just making sure. I saw TIF in there and I saw the blight grant and I'm like, I sure hope we looked at all of this.
Yes, and I skipped this one. So it's a 5-year rebate. So they're responsible for paying taxes every year and rebated back to them minus the debt service. The rebate is funded only from the improvement they're creating. So it's not going to draw from the district. So, and the cap is 110.
So that's why we have the yearly inspection to make certification to make sure where we're at.
Yes, it's certifying that they paid their taxes. First of all, the project is completed as presented and as approved in the agreement. So they satisfied that. And then every year they pay their taxes. They come to Cole cuts them a check back. And year over year until they may reach this value ahead of time. So whichever comes first.
Okay.
That would be.
I was just making sure because we had a few years ago a little problem with the contract. So, all right. Thank you very much.
And Amal, I just want to say too, so you know, in the past with development agreements, there has been some concern about completion. So in this agreement, there is a developer completion guarantee, correct?
Yes. So
And-
only when they complete, yes.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Only when they complete within approved time
Yep.
frame. So by end of the year in 29.
Perfect. And I was more saying that for the audience too, because I think that kind of, if we think back to some developers we've had, that kind of sits negatively in our minds. So I'm glad to be seeing that in our contracts these days too. So I appreciate that.
Since this is a public hearing, is there anyone here in the audience that has any questions or comments they'd like to speak on this matter? Then I would ask, did we get any sort of emails, letters of objection?
I received none.
So with that, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close it.
Second.
Chris, if you would take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes,
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
Resolution number 25, 2026, approving and authorizing the conveyance of certain real property to JCG Rentals LLC and approving and authorizing execution of a related purchase, sale, and development agreement within the Westgate Economic Development Urban Renewal Area. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 25, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Any last questions? Chris, take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
yes,
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
Ordinance number 3253, 2026, an ordinance to reinstate the Public Safety Advisory Committee by amending Chapter 2, Article 6, Division 5 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Ottumwa, Wapello County, Iowa. Recommendation pass the third consideration and adopt ordinance number 3253, 2026.
Move the recommendation.
Okay, again, this is the third final reading, assuming that it passes. The Public Safety Advisory Committee. I think I've went through this several times, but so I'm just going to go if there's any questions or comments from the council.
I would again advise that to have people from, if we're going to have people from the county, that they have a vested interest in our community through property ownership, a business, different ways like that. Again, I just say, and I know many disagreed with me, but having a vested interest, I think, also allows you to make decisions knowing that you will be affected. So your business, your property could be affected by decisions that could have a financial aspect to it or a code that you have to now follow. So again, I would push that we have county members that have that are on this council have a vested interest through, like I said, property ownership, a business, et cetera.
Any other questions or comments from council? With that, Chris, if you would take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
No.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
yes,
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1. Ordinance number 3254, 2026, an ordinance to add sections 1433, periodic fire safety inspections, and 1434, authority to cite, to Chapter 14, fire prevention and protection of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Ottumwa, Wapello County, Iowa. Recommendation pass the second consideration of ordinance number 3254, 2026.
Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Administrator Rath. You're asking for your positive vote on the second consideration of this ordinance. We have worked through everything, I hope. We've had a lot of discussion about this and how this was a benefit to the community and overall, and how building occupancy and classifications and inspections, all those things we talked about fall in in line, and then also become part of the fire code, our fire code under Chapter 34. So, or 14, excuse me. So unless you have any questions, I ask for your approval.
Any questions or comments from council?
You said something about the second reading. This is the third reading.
Second.
This is second.
The second.
In our book, it says third.
That was the first ordinance we read.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. No further questions or comments. Chris, would you take the roll, please?
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
Administrative hearing according to City Code Section 7-46B, irresponsible animal owner. Recommendation: at the conclusion of the hearing, City Council must render decision regarding appeal of irresponsible animal owner declaration.
So, do I need to call for a motion on this? We just need to open the hearing. Yeah, so then I would declare this hearing open, and I'm going to turn this over to Administrator Rath.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Mayor. So this is the administrative hearing on the appeal of irresponsible animal owner declaration. Case of the City of Ottumwa versus Larry Leroy Dunham Jr. Today is February 17th, 2026, and the time is 5:56 p.m. This is the time scheduled for the appeal hearing regarding the City of Ottumwa's determination that Larry Leroy Dunham Jr. is an irresponsible animal owner pursuant to the Ottumwa City Code. This hearing is being recorded by video recording. Present for this appeal are Mayor Benjamin Foote, City Council members Keith Cavaness, Joella Dupre, Kara Galloway, Bill Huffman Jr., and Dan Reed. City Clerk Chris Reinhardt, City Attorney Dustin Kaufman via teleconference, City Administrator Philip Rath. We have Officer Daniels for the City of Ottumwa, and Larry Leroy Denham Jr. for the appealing party. City Code Section 7-46 sub A sub 4 states, request for hearing and appeal. Any owner advised that the owner is declared an irresponsible animal owner may have, upon request, a hearing before the city administrator and with the officials making said determination as to whether the owner is an irresponsible animal owner. A request for a hearing must be made in writing and delivered to the office of the city administrator or the city administrator's designee within the time stated in the notice, or it will be conclusively presumed that the owner is an irresponsible animal owner. And City Code Section 7-46 sub B states, the city administrator or the city administrator's designee will act as the hearing officer. At the conclusion of the hearing or within 3 days thereafter, the hearing officer shall render a written decision as to whether the owner is an irresponsible animal owner. An appeal from this decision may be had by filing a written notice with the hearing officer. This appeal will be heard before the city council at a time and place fixed by the council. The findings of the council shall be conclusive. According to the documents related to this matter, the irresponsible animal owner determination was made by the City of Ottumwa by written letter or order on November 3rd, 2025, following a third conviction or guilty plea within a 12-month period. The request for appeal was submitted in person to City Hall by Mr. Denham and Amber Leducher on November 13th, 2025, and was forwarded to the city administrator. The request for appeal was therefore timely. The appeal hearing was held as required by city code, and the determination of the Ottumwa Police Department was affirmed. Mr. Denham was sent a written decision of the matter and subsequently filed an appeal on January 5th, 2026. This appeal was timely, and the hearing before the City Council was set for tonight, February 17, 2026. As part of the record for these proceedings, I'll identify the documents that are included within the file related to the appeal. November 3rd, 2025, notice of irresponsible animal owner declaration letter from the Ottumwa Police Department. November 3rd, 2025, acknowledgement of that notice. November 13th, 2025, request for appeal from Larry Leroy Denham Jr. December 12th, 2025, outline of the administrative hearing on that appeal. The city code relating to irresponsible animal owners, which is section 7-46. Response to appeal from December 12th, 2025 decision. And the January 5th, 2026 request for appeal to City Council from Larry Leroy Denham Jr. Copies of those documents have been provided to the appellant. And at this time, the appellant may come forward and present that information first. Then the city will be allowed to present information in response if there's anything to rebut. The appellant will then have a final opportunity to respond to any additional information submitted by the city. City council or mayor may ask any clarifying questions regarding the information presented in today's appeal hearing or the aforementioned documents. Those who will be speaking today are reminded to conduct themselves in courteous and respectful manner, not to interrupt or speak over each other. I'll recognize each party during the appropriate time to speak, and when given the opportunity to speak, please identify yourself clearly by name and home address. I will now ask the appellant, Larry Leroy Denham Jr., to come forward to the podium and present his information related to the appeal.
Hello, I'm Larry Denham. Hi, Farrington. My daughters, they have let their dogs run loose several times, but as in the middle of training, they just got the dogs. They go everywhere with the dogs, like they've been through a lot of stuff, and their dogs that's their best friends. They've got pictures all over their phones. It's like it's their life. They put AirPods on their dogs so they know where they're at all times, and they've got records of where our dogs have been for the last 2 weeks now. Well, they've had them on there for quite a while, but our dogs have not been out running around. But I'm going to let them talk because they're not even my dogs. I don't own a dog, so I'm going to let them talk to you. You want to lose your dog? You're going to talk. Well, they don't want to lose their dogs. I mean, they took the steps to keep their dogs contained. Their dogs they've not been running loose. They have not been called in. We just beg that you let them keep their dogs. If nothing else, suspend this thing. If you catch their dogs, then do it. I mean, suspend it for us so they can keep their dogs. Because even if you take their dogs, I'm not going to let them get rid of their dogs because it's their life. They're over at mental health right now trying to get them registered as service dogs. So we're in the middle of that too. I mean, so we're not going to get rid of the dogs. If we have to, we'll appeal from here. But I just wish that we'd get some kind of something going on to give them a chance. I could care less about the dogs, but I care about my kids. So that's where I'm at with it. That's all I have to say. That's it.
Okay. Does the city council or mayor have any questions of the appellant? I don't know if the city council or mayor have any questions for the appellant.
I'm sorry. I just got a little stage fright going on.
Good. Where in the process are you as far as getting them licensed as an emotional support
Brooklyn
dog?
is actually going to mental health over there. Talked to her therapist today. They're going to try to get her in to get it done. And then, because I'm telling you, if you take their dogs, I mean, it's hard to tell them what happened. I mean, their dogs are their life. Like they wake up with their dogs. They take their dogs everywhere but school with them. I mean, they go everywhere with their dogs. So, I mean, they're always on a leash with them. They're right there beside them. I got Officer Becky. She knows how well the dogs are trained. The dogs were just in training. And we had this mischievous little pit bull that we ended up signing over because it kept getting loose and attacking stray cats. So we went ahead and signed it over. I was not aware of the pleading guilty stuff. You get your dogs taken away for 5 years. I was not aware of that. I think that should be made aware to people before they plead guilty. It's not.
Mr. Denham,
Or
what
I
do you
wouldn't
mean?
have pled guilty to it.
What do you mean by signing them over? You said you signed the people
I
over.
signed them over. Well, we surrendered the dog to the police department to do whatever they do with them. I think they sent them to a shelter, but I'm not sure. That's what we was told they're going to do with it. So, and Willow there, she still has, I mean, she misses that dog a lot. It was a must, it was always in trouble, but she's got this other dog that she's trained really well, and they don't take off. I'm just trying to plead my case for my kids. I mean, I could care less about the dogs, but they love them dogs dearly. And I just don't want them to have to lose their dogs. If we could get it to where we suspend this thing for 5 years, if their dogs get loose again, then we enforce it, but that's just me begging for my kids. I mean, that's all I have. And Farrington, I'm not good at this.
Well, it's not to me now.
I'm not good at begging for stuff. So
Just so I understood the animals that were killing the cats, where are those?
The animal that was killing cats is now with the Ottumwa Police Department. They got rid
Okay.
of it. They
Okay.
got
I
rid
just
of
want-
it.
So that's not an issue.
Now Veda was with the dog that was killing cats one time, but I could bring Veda here. I could have her here in 5 minutes. We could bring Veda up here with a cat, and I'll show you that she does not attack anything. She don't attack anything.
So the dogs are, when you're outside of the home, the dogs are on a leash.
When the girls are outside of the home, when they go somewhere, their dogs are right beside them. I don't care if it's
But
inside.
they're on a leash.
Yes.
Is your yard fenced?
Yeah, my yard is fenced in. I got a 4-foot fence. Plus I got a dog kennel in my yard. I mean, my yard ain't pretty, but I got the stuff, you know.
I guess what I would say is that this has been an ongoing thing. It's not a new thing. Pets have been killed because of it. And also when dogs are on the loose, the pet itself is at risk of being injured too. And it's very concerning to think of, like, especially if they're that attached to maybe one day come home and see your pet not alive anymore on the side of the road, or a person getting injured, because then that causes you more issues too. And in here, I think it said that you had someone that the pets could go to. So that, my concern again is that, again, it's been an ongoing thing. You also had 2 violations of dangerous animals for 2 pit bulls. And so that's another concern too. So why not in April was this not resolved with the pets getting loose?
In April, what was in April?
April
We don't
was
have
2
any-
dogs. Sorry. Okay. So April 15th, 2 dogs, Veda and Doobie, got loose and were picked up by police. That's when, so you were cited then for restraint of animals. And that was the first keeping dangerous animals for Doobie. And then that also was when Roach was cited.
Yeah, Roach is gone, and so isn't the other. We have no pit bulls. Actually, what we have right now is we have 2 Frenchies, and then they're 2 dogs. That's what we have now.
But I guess what I'm saying is, if this started back then, why wasn't the issue resolved then, instead of now we're in, and then in October, there was also the issue.
The dogs were in training. They were puppies. They are young dogs, and they were in training. So, like the kids, if they accidentally left the door open or something, the dog would get out, and it's a German Shepherd, so she would just get out and she'd take off. But now that she's got them trained, the dog don't leave her side at all. And I could prove that by bringing the dogs up here if you'd like. I mean, the dogs are very well trained. Officer Bolin knows well that they're very well trained.
So Larry, it's not really the kids that have to keep them in. It's really your responsibility to keep them in. You know,
I work every
anybody
day.
that's owned a dog very much knows that some of them can be real escape artists. And but we've got to outfox them and keep them in, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it falls then to you as the adult there to make sure things are right, because, you know, you're putting yourself at risk if those dogs, or any dog that you own, gets loose and hurts somebody.
Absolutely.
Even if it gets in the street and causes somebody to swerve and have an accident, you're putting yourself, and actually the city, because the city knows the history here. The city's at risk, you're at risk. And that's a problem. Because
But
it
we
keeps
don't have
happening.
any biting dogs. We don't have any dogs that run loose anymore. We've resolved the problem. We took the steps to resolve the problem since then. That's all. I can guarantee you the dogs ain't going nowhere. I mean, they don't leave the kids' side, so.
You said that the dogs were trained. Where were they trained?
My girl has trained them dogs very well. You got any videos of the dogs? You want to come up and show them? Walk up there and show them your videos? You want to help a little bit?
So it's Veda and Doobie that are
Yeah,
left?
no, Doobie's gone. Doobie was a pit bull mix, and she got signed over.
So
we
it's-
have now a German Shepherd and a Lab.
So it's Veda and Gator?
Yeah, would you go up there and show them some videos of you and the dog?
And just for the record, I asked when the video was. She said from yesterday. Mr. Dunn, what are your daughter's names for the record?
One's name's Veda, and what is your dog's name?
No, the daughter.
Oh,
daughters.
there's Willow Denham and Brooklyn Denham.
Willow and Brooklyn.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You can just come right there in the middle.
Like they live dogs. If I give them a birthday present, it's usually money and they go spend it all on their dogs. Like that's all they do.
And is that a lab or what is that?
He's a lab shepherd.
Lab shepherd, okay.
I can see, it's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for the appellant, the witnesses, or based on the documentation? Okay. Does the city's representative have any additional information that you'd like to present in this matter? Officer Daniels is here, yeah.
We would like to hear
Oh,
your
and
side.
yes, you can ask questions of the city's representative.
Can we hear your account?
Yeah, Mr. Dunham, you can have a seat for the moment if you'd like. And you'll have another chance to come back up in a moment.
It's kind of a long list, so if there's any specific questions, I'm happy to.
Pull your mic up. Thank you.
What have you found the disposition of the dogs to be like when you've had to deal with them?
I've met the dogs on several different occasions. They've always been friendly towards people. There was the one case that was in the letter of two of their dogs getting loose and killing other domesticated animals, the cats in question. But as far as towards people, I've never gotten any reports of them attacking other people or myself when I'm visiting them.
So was it these dogs that killed the cats or another dog?
The dog named Veda was one of the dogs involved in the Heartland Humane Society and later adopted out.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask a dumb question. Do we have, and just so I have the facts, do we have proof Beto killed a cat?
At the time when I picked both Veda and Doobie up, after multiple people had called in saying that these two dogs were in the area killing cats, when I picked both dogs up, they both had scratches and claw marks and blood on their face indicating that they were in some sort of fight.
And so when you get calls, you're receiving multiple calls about these dogs, about dogs on the loose from this residence.
Yes, I've received.
So it's not just one call, it's multiple.
Was the cat a pet or a stray?
All of the cats in question were loose outside.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about their plan now being the animal control officer?
About their plan to
Yeah, how do
control
you
the dogs
feel?
in the future.
How do you feel? So if they were to retain the animals, what's your feeling?
I think that any plan to control the animals in accordance with the code should have been handled a long time ago. And I think now is an appropriate time to enforce the lack of compliance that they've exhibited over the past 12 months. I think it's a little too late to start saying that we're going to start abiding by the city code.
Any other questions for the city's representative?
How long have you been doing your job?
Since approximately May of last year, when Officer Williams retired.
Okay. Thank you.
Have you seen the dogs? Do they appear to be trained?
I would say they appear to be trained to some aspect. I don't know to what extent. I don't see them very often to really give a good say.
Thank you.
I just have one quick question. So when you, maybe this is more of a Administrator Rath, but when they, during the appeal or before, they receive like when they're cited, do they receive the code section, correct, that they're cited for?
Correct. The code section covering the irresponsible pet owner
Yeah.
and the reason behind it was all in the letter that was given to them.
Okay.
And there have been various charges or not charged, kind of an opportunity, some grace, you might say, given to them to, and then there's been some promise to do some things that were not done. Is that correct?
Correct.
Isn't that what we're reading here? Mhm. So I'd call for the question.
Okay, well, we'll finish out the hearing process, but no other questions for the city's representative, Officer Daniels?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you, Officer Daniels. Let's see, then, Mr. Denham, did you have any additional information you'd like to submit in response to the information that you just heard?
The only code section I've seen on anything before I put the pet together for anything is the code section of what my violation was. It wasn't about whether if you go plead guilty, you lose your dogs for 5 years. I was never informed of that by anybody. Or I would have went and fought them in court because technically they're not even my dogs. I didn't know that or I wouldn't have done it because I don't have a dog. So I don't even, I just. And since the last appeal hearing and the one before that, my dogs have not been picked up, or their dogs have not been picked up. They've not been a problem. So you keep that in mind too, that they have not been in any trouble since the last appeal hearing. We've started working on it then. We didn't just start now. We've been working on it. The girls, they work hard on their dogs. And I can't take their dogs from them.
Are both of these dogs currently licensed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been bonded out of the vet like however many times they got arrested, they've been bonded out. You gotta have them licensed and get all their shots and they're all up to date on everything. I don't know, I just can't see taking 2 little girls' dogs because their dogs got loose, If it was that easy, I would just take their dogs and give them up, but I just don't want to break their hearts. That's where I'm at. That's all I have.
I think we have to understand, though, it's not that it's a difficult decision. It's just bad all the way around. It's not that we want to take dogs away from little girls, but you got to understand there was other charges and other things surrounding the one thing. You know what I mean? That's why this is a difficult decision.
I totally understand the whole situation. I understand it all. I understand that the dogs were a problem. I understand that they were getting picked up. And I also understand my daughters went down there and badmouthed some cops. When they took their dogs. I understand all this, but they're trying really hard to get everything right so they can keep their dogs. I mean, they've been worried about this hearing ever since the last hearing. They try really hard. And that's why everywhere they go, when Brooklyn and Willow go to school, they have a dog kennel in their room. And the dogs are in the kennel. After they take them out in the mornings, they put them in the kennel for the time that they're at school. And like Amber would take them outside and let them go to the bathroom or whatever and bring them back in and put them up. The dogs ain't getting away ever again. And like I said, if I could just get some kind of deal where if they do get picked up again, you just keep the dogs. I mean, there ain't no getting them back, and then we'll go into this 5-year thing. But it ain't gonna bother me because I don't have no dogs. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Denham.
Yeah.
The time is now 6:18 PM. The appeal has been submitted, and the city council will deliberate to make a decision as to whether the declaration of an irresponsible animal owner should stand. If the city council affirms the declaration, all animals should be removed from the property within a reasonable time established by the city council. This decision will be put in writing, forwarded to the appellant, and shall be considered final. This appeal hearing is concluded. I will pass the gavel back over to the mayor. Thank you. You can deliberate and make a decision on that.
Okay. So I guess I would open it up to council for any more deliberations before before calling for a vote.
I know that one of the comments that I'd probably receive as much as anything is, why doesn't the city enforce the codes they've got on the books? And, I feel like, I hate it, but it's, we be soft-hearted, but we can't be soft-headed about this because somebody could get hurt.
Anything else?
Well, I think with this situation, I think this is kind of a tough decision all the way around. I would tend to agree with Councilperson Reed that it could be a danger, but it still doesn't make it any, it doesn't.
Sure.
It's not that I want to take anything from those two girls, but you have people and pets you have to worry about as well. And it's just with all the stuff together. And, we did have our officer out there doing exactly what we asked him to do. So I don't want to show him that we don't care about, his ability and his decision.
And I'm just going to support what Dan said, is we have laws and laws for a reason, and sometimes they're not fun to get to this point, but we have expectations. And as Officer Daniel said, tonight is not the time. A month ago was not the time to start making changes. It was when it first occurred. And I get that sometimes, things happen, so then it happens another time. But, we have to remember that we put things in place to ensure the safety of not just one person, but our community. And we have to remember that. And decisions aren't easy, but sometimes we have to make those.
I agree, but I believe he executed his job. He did exactly what we wanted him to do, what we would expect him to do, what the citizens want him to do. And that's not an easy job either. That your job is not easy, and I understand. So I'm going to go with what my two council members have just said.
I'd have to agree. We had a family dog that had bitten people in the past and been a little aggressive. I was one of those people. So it was a family dog and we had to get rid of it. It's just one of those things that you can't control. And if they've bit one thing, you never know what they're going to bite next.
Well, if there's nothing further, just to clarify, we'll take a roll. And that is, a yes vote then would be to declare Mr. Dunham an irresponsible animal owner, is what a yes vote would be. So with that, Chris, would you take the roll, please?
We need a motion in a second.
Oh, we do.
And then also, if that is a decision, it could be a second vote, a timeline or time frame to have the animals removed. So maybe the first vote first.
I think the final thing I'd want to say is I realize that he may not feel that those are his dogs, but those are his children. So therefore, he needs to take some responsibility.
So again, this would be to declare Mr. Dunham an irresponsible animal owner. And then I would entertain a motion towards that recommendation.
Move to approve.
Second.
So Chris, if you would take the roll, please.
Your Honor, may I make
Yes.
a comment?
Yes.
Your comment about a not responsible animal owner, he clearly has said 5 times, he doesn't have any animals.
Right.
So it has to be he or his family are not responsible dog owners. So I wouldn't nail just him. I would say include
Yeah,
the girls.
and I guess at this point, we're making the declaration based on the legal registration of the dogs, which are registered under his name. And so he's the one that we're making the declaration towards, not the kids.
I totally agree. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So any other questions? So Chris, take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
We need to set a timeline.
Can
Yeah.
I just say,
Because we'll need to include that in with the written notice to him.
So I guess at this point, I would entertain any comments of what type of timeline we're going to give him.
$10 days, 30 days, somewhere in between.
I guess the question I have is, if we give him 30 days, does that give him 30 days to rehome them, or does he have to surrender them?
Well, he could rehome them.
And it sounds like in the paperwork, they identified a person
Right.
that they
Family
could go
member, if I
to, a
remember right.
Bradley, oh, sorry, a Braden Morrow or something in that paperwork. So
That might be a way to go, to give them 30 days to rehome them. That would give them, maybe the animals could go to somewhere where the girls could still have connections with them, and that would be important.
Yeah.
Or chief, or you and your officer, what's your opinion on 30 days?
That would be fine.
So I'd entertain a motion to give a 30-day time frame for Mr. Dunham.
I would motion to give them a 30-day time frame.
Second.
Chris, if you'd take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
yes,
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes,
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Agreement with J&M Displays of Yarmouth, Iowa to provide fireworks display on July 4th, 2026 for a fee of $15,000. Recommendation: approve the agreement with J&M Displays and authorize the mayor to sign.
Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
second,
Parks Director Jean.
Thank you, Your Honor. Attached is an agreement with J&M Displays of Yarmouth, Iowa, to provide a fireworks display on the 4th of July, 2026 for a fee of $15,000. J&M has done an excellent job providing fireworks for the city of Ottumwa for the past several years. The fireworks will be shot off on the west side of the Ottumwa Park Campground as in years past. J&M Displays is the only fireworks provider in southern Iowa.
Is there any questions for Jean?
Gene, was there any other choice for dollar amount?
No, there wasn't. There's just no other fireworks displays around here unless you're referring to having a bigger display and paying them more.
I was looking for something less expensive. And I didn't know if you had a secondary choice or not.
I do not, and the problem with a less expensive option is it would significantly reduce the show, and then people would be disappointed and we would get complaints.
Right.
So,
And it sounds like we're getting a few bonuses here too, because of loyalty and because of, I'm not sure what, but a few bonuses. That's good.
yes.
So my question's the other direction. If an organization or person wanted to donate to the city to increase the show for this year, being the 250th anniversary of our country, could they do that? How would they do that? And what would be the deadline to donate that money?
I'd rather not do that for this year, but we could consider doing that in the future, and we've done that in the past, where local organizations like JBS, for example, have donated funding for the fireworks to make it a bigger and better show. So that can be done for the future.
Okay.
I think if we could just incorporate all the other fireworks going off in the city, we could have a pretty good show.
so Gene, does this bring more business to the campground when you have the show down there? Or does it take away?
It adds greatly to the campground because the campground is just full with campers and people on the 4th of July. And a lot of the campers are there for the fireworks display.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Chris, if you would take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
yes,
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes,
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes,
Fiscal year 2026 second quarter financial report. Recommendation: receive fiscal year 2026 second quarter financial report from Finance.
Have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Finance Officer O'Donnell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do apologize for the multiple versions of the report. As I started putting it together, I wanted to have something for Chris to be able to get out on Friday, and then I started going back and reviewing and noticing some changes. That's because the worksheet that I was using is only as good as what you build, and I found some inconsistencies and was able to finally pull it all together. So first thing I want to do is kind of review where we are with the fiscal year 26 budget. As far as it was adopted on April 15th, 2025. We had revenue estimates of $76,429,920 against expenditure estimates of $84,559,834. Most of the difference was due to planned use of reserves. So we had capital accounts and our project accounts that were using reserves that either didn't get expended in previous years or planned necessary to meet those expenditures. The one area that did not have a planned use of reserves is the general fund, and we had an operational shortfall of $469,685. At the time of adoption, the shortfall was planned to be made up through staffing, open staffing positions, in that throughout the year, we never are fully staffed in any one department, and therefore we believe we can make up the shortfall through that account. But as part of that, the council said they wanted to see quarterly reports to monitor progress. We did have a first quarter report, and the first quarter report was promising in that revenues were near where they should be or where they should be, and that expenditures were below expectations. So for quarter two, revenue is at 50.68%. That does not include transfers. Transfers are either fixed or they are in relation to actual expenditures for certain things such as employee benefits. There are three sources that are significantly below estimates: building permits and rental housing permits. I can speak to the rental housing permits because those start coming in the spring. As far as building permits, we hope that maybe in the spring here that things pick up and we get some building permits issued and be able to realize that income. For the intergovernmental, there is a timing issue as to when certain things come in. Our payment in lieu of taxes that we receive from the Housing Commission does not come in until later this spring. And the community industrial replacement from the state will come in either in March or in April, I believe. And then that will make up intergovernmental a little better. In other sources, we're not showing the proceeds of debt. I got to speak with Lauren, our accountant, as to was there money put elsewhere for a project? Did we budget it somewhere else? And then once we get that, I can either adjust the budget or get the money to where it's actually supposed to be spent. So I do have to have some discussions on that one. It's not a big concern because if the proceeds of debt was not placed into the general fund and we didn't do the project, then it's a wash. So I do have to check on that to make sure that we're okay there. Any questions on general fund revenues?
What does the charges for other services, what does that represent?
Charges for services? The charges for services, the bulk of that is the garbage service fees. Otherwise, it can be, if we do a service call through the police department, photocopies, if we're doing photocopies for somebody or something like that. But that's where charges services. But the bulk of that is the garbage service fees.
So you said that the rental permits pick up in the spring?
In the spring, when I checked on the history, what you saw is that starting in March and April, those really started to, that's when the fees really started to come in.
When are they due?
I'm assuming in the spring. In April. They're due in April.
Okay.
So. Okay. What I wanted to do is also give you a quarter to quarter comparison to kind of show you the cycles that we go through. As you can see, for property tax in the first quarter with the September collection, we received 46% of expected property tax in the general fund, whereas in quarter two, we're at about 9%. You will also see that, in intergovernmental, there's a big difference there. That is due to the timing of the U.S. government and with their fiscal year starting in October. That's when we can get some of the grants, especially one of the big ones was some of the police grants that, again, we couldn't get the money until October. So that's why you see a change there. With the use of money and property, that can fluctuate depending on when timed investments come due. We had more timed investments come due in the second quarter than we did the first. So that's why you see a big difference there. Any questions on that?
So you said that in your handout to us that you're anticipating a delay from the FAA on the
That would be what
the 303.
Yeah, but this right now is just general fund.
Okay.
General fund, not all the other funds.
When do we see the property tax funding come in? So like if they're due March, right? So our next set.
So we will see those probably come in June.
Okay, so the next quarter,
Yeah,
quarter four.
yeah. The because of the September payment and the June payment are usually the two largest. We do receive them throughout the year in smaller amounts, but those are the big times are September and June.
What are other city taxes?
That would be, in this case, for the general fund, is the hotel motel tax, mobile home tax, and the cable franchise fees.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on general fund revenues? So when we look at the revenues for all funds, we're sitting at 46.7%. Again, as Councilmember Dupre brought up, funds 301 and 303 are yet to receive draws on grants. The first draw for Mary Street was submitted in the last couple of weeks, so we expect that to come in shortly. And as far as 303, which is the airport projects, we are just submitting the first draw today or tomorrow. I've got it sitting on my desk, so it'll be tomorrow. We don't expect the full estimated draw to occur because the project is being delayed a little bit. So we'll probably have to carry that revenue estimate over into the next fiscal year. Okay. When it comes to the license and permits, that's pretty much a general fund revenue. And so again, looking at when we expect the rental permits to come in and when the building permits hopefully pick up here in the spring. As far as other funds, the key ones, enterprise funds, sewer sits at 47.11%. The winter months tend to be a little drier. People use a little less water. That'll pick up here in the spring and for the fourth quarter. Landfill is at 50.66% of their estimated revenues. and recycling is at 42.09. One of the problems with recycling right now is that they're having a tough time finding a buyer for their recyclables. And the price is, and they can't get a great price for them. So some of that revenue there might be a concern as to will they be able to meet their revenue estimates? Any questions on those revenues? So again, I give you a quarter by quarter, and it mirrors the general fund, except for on a much larger scale, because now you're taking into account the number of dollars that come in collectively. You'll see that for property tax and for the TIF revenue, and TIF being a property tax, those come in high in the first quarter and will come in higher in the third and fourth quarter. Use of money and property, again, the timed investments coming in dictates that. And again, intergovernmental based upon when we have funds available from the federal government. Any questions before I move to expenditures? All right, so expenditures in the general fund are within estimate. We're at 47.48% of expected revenue or expected expenditures. We need to be 2.22% less. So if you take 50% minus what we need to be, that percentage needs to be 2.2%. Quarter one, we were at 2.67. Quarter two, we're at 2.52. We're still above that target, but the gap is closing. So we will need to look at cost-saving measures to make sure that we hit our target. One of the things is with open positions, we had 4 open positions with 3 being actively recruited. We are contemplating some plans, not only just to help us with this year's budget, for next year's budget, on some staffing in a couple of departments as to whether or not those positions are critical. Can we keep them open a little longer, or figure out a different way to staff in order to meet our target for 2026 and to help us close the gap in 2023 or 2027. As with quarter one, I wanted to bring up, we had our temporary increase in fire department personnel, and there are some concerns with personnel expenses. Overtime is currently at 121, almost 122% of budgeted amount, and that will continue to creep up. Comp time being used is at 86.84%. The job differential, which hopefully will be fixed a little bit with some of the with tonight's promotion and maybe a couple other testing that we're doing, that the job differential can be tempered off a little bit, but that is at 106% of current estimate. That's not 106% in quarter two, it's 106% total against the budget. We are offset a little bit for salaries and wages, because if you're paying more overtime and you have some open positions, the wages go down a little bit. We don't count when someone uses comp time, we don't take it out of the salaries and wages, we bring it down to the comp time, and so the salaries and wages are offset. Total salary and wages for the fire department sits at 53.34%. They are currently the only department that are above 50% for their wages. Any questions?
Say that again for me.
What's that?
Say that last thing again for me to make sure I understood.
Fire department is currently the only department above 50% on their wages. Any other questions? So we'll break down again. We do expenditures.
I'm sorry. So
Yeah,
that
go
is
ahead.
one of these 2 departments you reference here and being significantly expending more than their budget. The last line on under expenditures. you said all expenditure types are under budget except two commodities at 57.71. This is due to two departments having expended significant portions of their budget. Is that, what departments are those?
Are you looking under the general fund or all expenditures?
General?
Okay.
Yeah, it's the line under the first expenditure page, the very last
Mhm.
sentence.
Oh, okay. So in looking at expenditure type for commodities, this is what I was getting to here. So you're a little ahead of me.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So when we look at the expenditure types and we look at program, expenditure types are broken down: wages and salaries, employee benefits, staff development, repair, maintenance, and utilities, contractual, commodities, and capital expenses. These are the type expenses that under the uniform code, chart of accounts, that the state has us break those down into. And then programs are the program areas that we budget into, and each one of those will have different departments within the program areas. When we look at where we're at, again, we're at 47.48% of total expenditures in the general fund. One of the things is that commodities is higher, and it's not any particular one line item. It's multiple line items. The departments that are in question, there's the fire department, the parks department, and city hall maintenance. City hall maintenance, I can tell you that once we moved in, there was some commodities we had to buy, so it's eaten up a lot of the budget right now. I don't believe that it will exceed the budget. I think that things have tapered off. We got some of the things that we needed. Parks department, again, there isn't any one line item. I know that there's been some small tools and equipment that have had to been purchased through the year. That's one item I do remember. Within the fire department, there is where they provide the uniforms, the initial uniforms for the recruits. Those are coming out of the commodities as well, and so that's kind of pushed their commodities up.
So it's three departments, not two?
It's when I looked at it a little further, there were really three departments. The parks department and the city hall are over 50%, and I think one is over 60%. So I did, once I went through and reviewed that, the two highest ones are the fire department and the parks department.
But overall, you're under 50% at half the year. And so
Correct.
it seems like a good thing. I realize things ebb and flow, but.
Right. And going forward, this is one of the things I'll bring up Thursday at the staff meeting, is that we need to keep that below 50%. So whatever you can do to manage your budgets, save where you can. If it's not needed, it's not something that we need to do or to purchase. So we'll continue to monitor and make sure that we're keeping things under that, not only under 50%, but under 48%, because we have to be under 48%.
Yeah, 47.8.
Yeah. So we have to be closer to 47 than anything else.
So what was the fire department uniform budget? You quoted me. What was it? It was 14 or 25?
What's that? Say
The
again.
fire department uniform budget, we talked about that 14 to 25. Because I thought when we talked about that, elevating that cost, I was told that it wouldn't affect or make them go over. It would just come from somewhere else.
Well, the the actual uniforms that they bought for existing firefighters, that's true. As far as, we put on, 6 new firefighters, right? 7, 9. We put on 9 new, we've got 9 new firefighters. They all need to have uniforms, right? So those are coming out of the
So it was the
sustenance
9
supplies.
additional, not the
Right,
ones. before.
not from the existing firefighters. Any other questions? Okay. So again, a quarter to quarter comparison. One of the things is that we noted that in quarter one that wages and salaries and employee benefits, even though we had a quarter, the wages and salaries and benefits were significantly below 25%. It's nice that they would be below 25% because we wanted to have open positions, whatever else. But the reason why they were so significantly below 25% is that the first payroll in July was either 100% or partially credited to fiscal year 25.
Right.
And not fiscal year 26. So what'll happen is when we get to the fourth quarter of fiscal year 26, the first payroll in July will be partially credited to fiscal year 26. So you might see in fourth quarter that the percentages there increase a little bit versus other quarters because of that one last payroll.
Is that because they're accrued ahead?
It's because the expenses were accrued in fiscal year 25, payable in fiscal year 26. And so our auditors have us credit that back to the previous fiscal year. Okay. So expenditures in all funds. Timing of certain expenditures does create variances. What you'll notice is that in repair, maintenance, and utilities, there was an increase in the first quarter. They sat at 16.34%. In quarter two, the amount spent in quarter two was 22.23% of total budget. So those are, it's not, it goes, the total amount spent was 16% in quarter one and 22% and now a total 22% in quarter two. It's 16.34% of budget was spent in quarter one and 22.23% of budget was spent in quarter two. Everybody understand? Mm-hmm. Okay. So there was an increase there. Contractual, which we expected as projects were being completed. 12.67% of budget spent in Q1 and 30.24% spent in Q2. With capital expenditures, 11.95% in Q1 and 20.81% as equipment is ordered and being paid for. There's a lead time. And so that occurs more in Q2, plus some of the projects that were put under capital, strictly under capital, such as the cemetery building. You had expenditures for that project as well. Okay. We do have program areas significantly under budget. Public Works, most of that is because road use tax has not received some of the equipment that they've ordered. So some of the large expenditures for that equipment have not come in yet. Health and Social Services, the biggest line item there is that we have not seen expenses for demolition come in. We have over 400,000 budgeted and we've only spent around 100,000. So that's the reason why that one is well below. And again, this is all funds. And so those expenses for demo are out of Fund 151. Community and economic development, the big expenditures that haven't happened there and won't happen until June are our tax increment financing rebates. And any debt service transfers paid through TIF will need to be in the last quarter as well. Any other questions? So again, our expenditures by type and by program, as pointed out, when you look at community development and you look at health and social services and you look at public works on the program side, on the expenditure type, the one that's well below is staff development. We have departments, for better or worse, that will budget money because they say we're going to go do this training, and then they don't do the training. And I have emphasized to them during the budget process, I don't mind putting money in for training, but if you put it in there, use it. So as we go forward, if they continue to put money in there and then they don't use it, those are things we're going to look at. Do we actually have to put the money in?
Since you mentioned that, I have a question about, so
Yeah.
if a department has money that they don't use, does that stay in their bucket, stay in their account, or do they start from zero on the new year?
It stays in their fund.
Yes.
Okay, so it
Okay.
stays in the fund. It doesn't necessarily stay in their department. So,
Oh.
for example, in Fund 110, which is the street department funds, we have multiple departments. If street maintenance doesn't spend all of what they have budgeted, right? Street maintenance doesn't get to keep that extra. It just goes into the road use tax fund that can be used for any of the other departments in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have a plan in place? If we put money in for training, who's following up that they're using it?
That is part of the quarterly review and as the budget process. As we sat through the budget with the department heads and the department managers, again, I looked at it and I said, you haven't used your training for this year, right? And you're putting money in for training next year. And I said, I don't mind putting it in, because if you need training, get the training. But don't just keep putting in the money and not spending it.
Is anybody following up in the in-between times?
Not yet, no.
Is the conversation though, going beyond just you're not using it, and as to like, why aren't you using it? Because maybe they don't have the staff to be able to cover so that they can go to the training. And if that's the case, then I think there's more conversations that need to be happening on how can we support our people so they can go to trainings. But that's for another time and place.
And truthfully, I think that's not the reason. Okay. It's more along the lines of yeah, we got to do that training, and they haven't done the training.
So one of the things that we're working on this year too is tracking all of the trainings and certifications that all of the employees need to have per their job descriptions. And since we redid all the job descriptions and everything last year, we now have the ability to put all of that into UKG and actually track it. So that's something that we are working on in HR, working with the departments to obtain all of those trainings and certifications, and the system will actually notify the employee, the department head, the direct supervisor, and HR to let us know that, hey, in 90 days this training is coming due, or in 30 days this training is coming due. And then if it's something that like multiple departments need, so like Katie right now is working on some different safety trainings for the departments because multiple departments need that. We take care of making sure to get those scheduled and then get all of that information out to the departments.
Yeah. And there are some cases we talked about, there were at the beginning of the year when the budget was put together, a number of positions that weren't staffed that have required trainings that may have been in there, that if those positions are filled, those trainings are in there as part of that. So that would be in some cases. But like Cole said, when we were going through the budget this year and some of those positions were filled, okay, are we doing the training now? Are we, and if not, looking at reducing that back, because, and with the new system too, you can have in there breaking out individual, the the trainings, the type of trainings, the different, when we went to the League of Iowa Cities, I have, like if I go a line for my position, a line for the mayor, and a line for any of the council members that go, and each of those can be separate. So we can track who's going, who's not going, and what those dollars are set aside. Any of the other departments can do that as well as far as breakdown in there.
And that's fine. I agree with what you guys said. I just was going by when he said we're throwing money into a training account, people aren't using it, and it's just sitting there. And then if we're not looking at it all year, and I'm not saying what she does or whatever, but if it's just sitting there and then at the end of the year we say, oh, you had that money for training and you didn't use it. Well, that's what I'm worried about, is that we could have, or are there other departments that could use additional training with that?
And that's our concern as well, is that if you're putting money in there for the training and you're not doing the training, right? So that's the same concern that we have as well.
We put a plan in place to look at that, maybe. Sorry.
I was just going to say, it sounds like there's a plan in place to do that.
So yeah, we're working through that right now. And then, like I said, so we will go in as well and pull different reporting and like reach out to the different departments and say, hey, this training is required, or per the job description, it said that this needs to be done. And we in HR will work with the department head to say, okay, what can we do to help support you in this? What can we do on our end? Or do we need to, increase the accountability from the employee as well, making sure that they understand and they know what they are responsible to get per their job description too. So there's a lot of communication that does go back and forth for anything that is required per their job description. And then some of the departments, like I said, and even with our safety committee, they're reaching out as well and working through just some of the other optional trainings that are available that are out there.
Right. Yeah, and that's a great plan. I mean, I think it is. I'm just talking about financially, that it's just sitting out there, that we look at it financially.
Right.
Too.
Yeah, we do.
So that's all tracked through that UKG you said?
Yes, ma'am.
And then that comes back to you in a report that these people need training?
So what it does is we input that information into the system based on the expiration dates of some of the training. Not all of them have expiration dates, but the way that we can set it up in the system is that if you are in a specific position, these are the trainings that are required for that position.
Right.
And it shows up on their profile. And then if like they have a training right now and say it's going to be coming due, the employee, the direct supervisor, the department head, and HR all get notifications through the system that say, hey, this training is coming due. And then supervisors as well as HR at any point in time can go in and pull a report. Like if I wanted to go in and say, all of these people have expired CPR training, because that's something that we are expired on, that we're working on, we can pull that at any point in time.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All right. So now comes the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is we have a better estimate of our financial condition with Q2. Q1, we weren't necessarily sure. We hadn't received property tax. We hadn't seen some of the other expenses. Right now, we're not recommending any changes. We just continue to do our due diligence, make sure that we're holding expenditures as best we can. We have identified areas of concern. So we'll continue to monitor those. And again, hopefully be able to control what we need to do. Looking ahead to fiscal year 27, there is a larger shortfall with the budget as drafted. Even with some of the changes that can be pulled out, we're still going to have a significant shortfall. That will require significant reductions, and it will affect service levels. There's no way around it. If you take out all the expeditions, you're still looking at a $600,000 to $700,000 shortfall. You can't nickel and dime that down. You're going to have to look at what we do, at what level we do it, and what changes we want to make. Staff will have some recommendations moving forward. I know some of you were a little bit disappointed in that the first meeting didn't have some of those recommendations, but we're still working through some of those. And we will have those recommendations to you. And hopefully it'll be a cafeteria and you can pick this or that or whatever. But there will have to be changes. We're not the only community facing this. I know, I know of several communities within, Southeast Iowa here that are facing the same tough decisions. Our 800 or 600 to $1 million shortfall is not uncommon with some of the cities that I know.
Right. And many of them don't have a sewer separation they have to do either.
You're exactly right. And some of them do.
Right.
I guess I just wonder how, and I understand we have 2 more quarters to go, but how in quarter 2, when we're still not at that 2.22 percentage?
No. We don't want to be at 2.2. We want to be above 2.2.
Oh, I'm sorry. I read that, at least at 2.2 differences. But anyways, back to what I was saying is when we still have a significant concern of if we're going to get there, why we're not looking at different changes now to prepare for quarter 3 and quarter 4,
Well,
especially when we're expecting like overtime to be significant and over budget again. And then cotton time, you said, is expected to continue exceeding estimates too. Just
Right.
different things like that.
And we are looking at options because I did say we were looking at personnel options as far as positions and everything else. If you want to make changes, the problem is that you would have to hold positions open. And we have filled in that one department, in the fire department, we have filled our positions. So we have to look at other departments and we have to look and say, okay, is there a way to hold positions open? And we have, like I said, we have some different positions open that we can hold for the rest of the year. And hopefully that'll offset, the other areas. We'll also, and yes, while we said that the shortfall made up through open positions and salaries and everything else, if we can hold the line on all of our other expenditures as well, tighten our belts and hold our line on other expenditures, right? We can come in and meet our goal.
Help me understand. I'm going to go back to this 2.22%.
Right.
You say we don't want to be there, but then this says this maintains at least a 2.22% difference between the estimate and actual expenditure, and we're going down. So what am I?
No, what it is.
No, but that's what that says.
Is between our total, between our budget and our total expenditures, we want to be at 97.78% of total expenditures, right? Right now, we sit at 97.52% of our total expenditures.
Okay.
Okay. So that is below what the target is. If the target is 97,
Bigger gap.
yeah,
Okay.
97,
That's what-
78.
The
and we're
way
below
that this is written is.
Yeah, it's a,
okay.
you're right. Yeah. What it is that is the target below. You take the total expenditures minus, and that's where we should be.
Got that.
And I think to your point, we are being cautious. Cole is identifying these areas. The trend analysis is currently it's trending towards where we don't want to be. I mean, it's not reversed. We've got different quarter and different expenses and revenues that come out. But we are definitely staying on top of that and looking at any options that might be available without hindering services and service provision as currently budgeted.
Because any additional changes that you want to make right now would affect services as well.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, Chris, if you would take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway, Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
Consideration of a state and community highway safety grant fiscal year 2027 application to the Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau. Recommendation: approve the grant submission and authorize the mayor and chief of police to sign the application and contract upon receipt.
I have a motion to approve.
Second.
Chief Farrington.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, Administrator Rath. Since 1998, we have partnered with the Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau for a traffic safety grant. These are monies that come in from the state that assist us with traffic enforcement projects to reduce personal injury accidents and alcohol-related crashes. This year, we're looking at about grant for $25,000 for wages of those officers to work those projects, and $6,000 in equipment, in particular, 3 moving radar units for squad cars.
Those moving radar units, do those display your speed? Is that what they do as you're driving by, or how's it?
So there's a RF antenna out the front windshield, and there's one out the rear. So officers are able to check the speed once you activate that radar unit, and it's been properly calibrated. It will not only show you what your movement speed is, but also the speed of an oncoming vehicle, whether it's coming from you're passing it or something's coming up passing you. Does that make sense? The front radar gets a vehicle coming towards you. As the vehicle goes by you, the rear radar can also pick up its speed moving away from you while you're in motion, so you don't have to be stationary.
Okay. You're talking about something that's mounted in the squad car then?
Yes.
Picking this stuff up. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So don't push the gas after you get by the police officer.
No, definitely don't do that.
That's what I heard.
Pump the brake, pump the brake.
Any other questions for Chief Farrington? Is that all you had?
That is it. Yeah, we're just asking to accept the grant, and the mayor and I sign off on it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Chris, if you would take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Chief. How you doing? How you doing?
Resolution number 28, 2026, authorizing the replacement of a primary anaerobic recirculation pump for the water pollution control facility in the amount of $30,518 from Vesco Incorporated. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 28, 2026.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Superintendent Lloyd.
Honorable Mayor and Council, just coming forward to authorize the expense of $30,518 for an anaerobic recirculation pump. We have 3 of these. Like I've said before, our stuff generally isn't too cheap. So the situation with this one is we try to get OEM products. This manufacturer does not manufacture that pump anymore. So we've had to go out and try to find a different pump. We have found a couple others, but they did not fit the footprint to try to squeeze it in. So there's a lot of things they could go into, but we went through our due diligence and this is what we came up with. And because of the cost of it, we need to come before council, have it approved by resolution.
So how old was the pump that failed? How long do they last generally?
This one, I'm going to guess, is somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 years. It just depends on the pump. It depends on how often it cycles. The real determining factor is what is getting pumped through with it, with the fluid. You can have sand, you can have gravel. We've had pieces of brass the size of your hand like that. That does not do an impeller good. So this is one where there is a lot of sand, a lot of grit, because it is held within a tank and it recycles. That's what its job is to do, is to make that mixture within that tank homogeneous And because it comes in through the bottom, anything that settles out is going to go back through that pump.
How many of these pumps do you have in operation?
Right now, 2.
Okay.
And was this a budgeted item?
Our pumps are not budgeted. I don't want to say they're not budgeted. We have no idea. You got to remember, sorry about that. It's a bad saying. We have 30 lift stations. We have 29 lift stations. We have at least 2 pumps at every lift station, sometimes 3. So we're around 75 pumps total for the city. We have more than 60, less than 90. Some of those are massive and will cost $150,000. We have the cheapest ones are about $7,500.
But you have a fund like a maintenance and repair.
We budget, yes, we budget $300,000 out of that fund itself. Actually, within the resolution, if I can find it, I got
Yeah.
a different fingerprint.
166,9 left.
Yeah. So by the time we purchase this, we'll have 136,000 left in that fund. I've already told the guys, hey, watch the pumps. It's going to be close July. So. So you get to spend $30,000 just after this great news.
Any other questions? Chris, will you take the roll, please?
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Resolution number 29, 2026, authorizing fiscal year 26 second quarter transfers as submitted by Finance. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 29, 2026.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the second quarter transfers. All of these were budgeted, and some are for operational support, some are in support of cost of benefits, and some are for debt service payments.
Any questions for Mr. O'Donnell?
I do have a quick question. This is for the next budget, but can we get a big sheet like this for our next budget with the transfers?
You get one in every budget, and there's actually one for fiscal year 26 included.
I would love to know where that is.
It is in the, if you have your budget book,
Yes.
right? It is after the expenditures. After all the line item expenditures. As far as the fiscal 27, you don't have one for fiscal 27, just
that's
for
what I
fiscal year
meant. Sorry.
26. You just
when-
have one for fiscal year 26.
Okay. Okay, that's what I was asking. Thank you.
Right.
So the ones for benefits,
Yes.
those are done on a quarterly basis, those transfers?
Those are done on a quarterly basis, and they are for actual expenditures. So what we do is again, we levy for the employee benefits, and we base it upon the number of positions we have that are currently enrolled in health insurance. And if there's open positions, we estimate that the person will take a full family. They may or they may not. And so when we make these transfers for support of cost of benefits, those are actual expenditures within those funds.
Okay, so, but the 411 medical, now that was workman's comp, right? So
Right,
that's,
so
that one's different.
Yeah, that one is different. Okay.
Okay.
The 411, we budget a certain amount. The problem is that if we had, the costs there are dependent upon the cost to the employee that's covered. This is for a municipal police and fire employee or employees. We do not have workman's comp insurance for those employees because of some of the rules and regulations related to injuries that could be considered work-related that you may not, such as a firefighter develops a certain type of cancer. They, what they'll do is they'll say a portion or all of that could be work related, and therefore we have to pay the medical costs for that condition until the employee dies, right? So if you have an employee that has a heart condition, they could live, after they retire, they could live on for another 30, 40 years. All their heart medications, all of the, any additional surgeries, any additional checkups, any of those, the city is directly responsible for those, because under the 411, those are considered work-related. And so, again, the amount that we expend out of 411 and that we transfer from employee benefits is dependent upon the actual claims that we have to pay.
So that's a variable. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Chris, take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanagh.
Yes.
Resolution number 31, 2026, fixing a date for a meeting on the authorization of a loan agreement and the issuance of not to exceed $950,000 general obligation capital loan notes of the City of Ottumwa, State of Iowa for general corporate purposes and providing for publication of notice thereof. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 31, 2026.
Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is part one of the bond issuance. This is for the $950,000 for general corporate purpose projects. These are projects related to facilities or certain infrastructures that would be considered a general corporate purpose. So for instance, we actually took this one out, but when it was in there, the roof at the library would be considered general corporate purpose because we're borrowing to fix a facility. So that is what these are for. I'll give you a full list at the public hearing of what those are as far as projects. And this right now just sets the public hearing, so you'll have a chance to digest and debate projects at that time. This portion of the bonding is subject to a reverse referendum.
Yeah, what's that mean?
So what that means is that if there's a petition with a certain number of signatures, I can't remember what the count is, but it's a certain number of signatures of registered voters that voted in the last general election. If they get enough signatures, then what it is that then has to go to a referendum in order to issue those bonds. And it has to pass by I believe, a 60% vote.
So explain why these general obligation bonds, I guess, is that the right term?
General corporate purpose.
Explain why that's the best type of bond or the best source for this.
Well, your bonds are going to be of two specific types. They're either going to be general obligation, which means they're primarily paid with property tax. You can have other funds, such as we offset some of our debt service with TIF funds because it was a project that was directly related to say the airport. And so we can use airport TIF funds to pay that off. Otherwise, it would go on the general property tax. So that's a general, and then there's two types of general obligation bonds. There's the general corporate purpose, right? Which is what this $950,000 is. And that's for improvements to facilities, things that they would not consider essential, because an essential corporate purpose, instead of a general corporate purpose, an essential corporate purpose is things such as streets and capital equipment.
So that gets us that's a better rate than a.
No, it has legal definitions.
Yeah, it's just legal definitions. It has nothing to do with rates. It has nothing to do with whether it's a better bond or whatever. It relates to specifically Iowa code and what we can bond for and what type of bond we have.
So will this be put on people's taxes?
Yes.
Oh, so it's a 50. Yeah.
Yes, so this is part of, and it was factored into the budget as far as the debt service levy.
Yes.
So when you looked at that last week, these dollars were factored in and what the rates would do. So we have some bonds that will be dropping off as of the next year. This would be coming on to pay for, and for this is some of the, like Cole said, the general corporate purpose, the buildings, facilities, things that are identified within us. And the bond council looks at classifying if it fits under the essential corporate purpose, which has a different set of rules, or the general corporate purpose. And that's why you have two different things here rather than one bond or note that's for 2.95 million. They have to break it out into the legal classifications.
Can you say that one more time?
They will be sold. They will be sold. Just so you know, the bonds will be sold as a $2.95 million issuance. Right? It's just that 950,000 of them will be general corporate purpose and subject to the reverse referendum, and the 2 million will be essential corporate purpose, not subject to a referendum.
Well, and the 950,000 has to be under a certain amount, right?
It has to be under a certain amount, and this is I believe it's 988,000 is the current limit.
Yeah. So back
What's the term of the bond?
These actually are proposed to be, I believe, 7 to 10 years.
Okay.
Back to the property tax question, is that going to cause an increase in property taxes?
No, what it is we had our financial advisor or bonding advisor structure so that the debt service levy essentially remains the same.
Right. Okay.
And the plan is going into the future that we maintain a level debt service levy. So what we don't want to do is okay, we're going to bond for $5 million this year, and your levy goes up however much, and then 3 years down the road we've paid off 3 different bonds, and now all of a sudden your debt service levy drops way down. We have control over that, so we try to maintain that at an even level.
And that's the same, I'm assuming, for the essential as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, he factored in based upon 2.9 million.
Right. Okay.
So you're saying this one and the next one will not affect anybody's taxes?
They won't negatively affect the taxes more than they are at this year with the debt service levy rate.
Correct. The debt service levy stays the same.
That is the target with the budget and
Right.
putting the capital plan in place so that the city staff can recommend and city council can approve a debt service levy that stays fairly stagnant. And in this, we're looking at a $400,000 increase to road rehabilitation. So there's an extra $400,000 that wasn't in there the year prior, in other words, to keep it level.
Right. And we actually removed some projects from the original proposal for the bond because we found that we had sufficient reserves to do some of those projects. So instead of putting it onto the debt schedule, we lowered the amount of the bond and are asking for less funds to be borrowed, but we structured the payment back so that our debt service levy remains the same.
So just say bottom line, when we're looking at this, there's a list of projects that's presented, and they're presented to the bond council, and they look at it project by project, and certain projects by the legal classification have to be general corporate purpose. Other projects can be essential corporate purpose, and that's why there's 2 different ones. So all the ones that are general corporate purpose, they group together, and that totaled this roughly $950,000. And then the same with the essential corporate purpose on the next one was grouped and packaged into the $2 million.
So this is basically, we had this debt and it's going to be falling off and we're replacing it with new.
That's part of the plan. As debt rolls off, we structure our new debt so that our debt service levy remains the same.
So okay.
And continuing to forward capital projects, improvements, equipment, et cetera.
And I didn't provide a list because this is just setting the public hearing.
Right.
So
That list, will we have that before our meeting?
yes.
Any other questions? Chris, take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Resolution number 32, 2026, fixing date for a meeting on the authorization of a loan agreement and the issuance of not to exceed 2 million general obligation capital loan notes of the City of Ottumwa, State of Iowa for essential corporate purposes and providing for publication of notice thereof. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 32, 2026.
Your motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. O'Donnell.
And again, this is just setting the public hearing, but this is for the essential corporate purpose side rather than the general corporate purpose side. And these are not subject to a reverse referendum.
Any other questions? Chris, take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Resolution number 36, 2026, resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a real estate purchase agreement between the City of Ottumwa and Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway Company. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 36, 2026.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Administrator.
Okay, thank you. So on May 20th, 2025, City Council approved Resolution 94-2025 that authorized the city to join as a co-applicant for a Destination Iowa grant for the construction of an inclusive play space upon the area that's, will be known as Market Street Landing. The grant was awarded and construction has begun. In an effort to expand parking for the inclusive play space, there was an effort to acquire property from BNSF, Burlington Northern Santa Fe line, I believe it is. Through negotiation, the railroad has agreed to part with the adjoining property. Legacy Foundation has agreed to cover the purchase price of that acquisition. As discussed in previous meetings, the project hits on 3 out of 4 of our core programs in the comprehensive plan and would be a great asset to the city. There is one thing I want to point out in the time between the packet going out and the meeting tonight. There was a clarification as far as the real estate purchase agreement. Typically with these, with purchases, real estate, the earnest money is a number less than the purchase price. And so the thought was that the earnest money would be $500. It was clarified that with the deal, the earnest money is meant to be $5,000. I handed out a sheet ahead of the meeting, so you have that. That's the only thing that changed since when the pack was put together. The purchase price is still $5,000. And then there's a $2,500 brokerage fee, so a total of $7,500. So that was the only change, was that with the earnest money. And I wanted to call that out because it is unique to this versus other real estate deals that I've been involved in. Legacy, and Kelly Jenners is here from Legacy Foundation. They are aware of this change. It was forwarded to me by Kelly Jenners, and they have assured me that they are okay with that change and how it is stated. And she is here if there are any questions about specifically. So they are doing the front work on this project, and the thought was to have this property turned over to the city in the end. So rather than play middleman, we're having the deal come right to the city.
Any questions or comments?
Only comment I have is it seems like they're kind of gouging us a little bit on that piece of land. It's not very big. But we need it.
Well, if anyone has tried to work with a railroad in the past, they are not the easiest entities to work with.
No, they're not.
And it doesn't matter what level of government you're at.
just want to come up if there's any questions. Yeah, that is the minimum cost of land acquired by BSNF. And we have been working for about, I'm trying to talk into my mic
You
here.
can pull it down.
We've been working with them for about 8 months to get to this point. And Legacy would provide a grant to the city for the full cost of the land, $7,500. So the city is basically acting as a pass-through for the organization. And this allows us to expand our parking by about 14 spaces for the project.
That's great.
Nice.
So you're covering the whole 7,500?
Yes, that is correct.
Can you tell us who you are?
I'm Kelly Jenners. I'm the president of the Ottumwa Legacy Foundation.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Chris, take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Resolution number 39, 2026, authorizing the mayor to execute 5 permanent sewer easements and 4 temporary easement agreements for construction of public improvements for the Blakes Branch Phase 8 Division 3 Sewer Separation Project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 39, 2026.
Is there a motion to approve?
Second?
Director Bergmeyer.
Thank you, Mayor. So in order to construct and maintain parts of the Phase 8 Division 3 Storm and Sanitary Collection System, the attached easements are required. Staff has met and worked individually with each of these property owners, explaining in detail the planned improvements. The temporary easements are in effect only during this initial construction phase, and the temporary or the permanent easements will be in perpetuity until the improvements no longer needed. We actually constructed some of this already without the temporary easements. The contractor used trench boxes and hauled the dirt around rather than piling it up next to it, just to expedite construction, but they're still needed for future maintenance of it, because usually you don't have a trench box and dump truck with you when you dig up a sewer. So,
Any questions? Chris, take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Resolution number 40, 2026, approving removal of pavement on Norris Street for the Blakes Branch Phase 8 Division 3 Sewer Separation Project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 40, 2026.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Director.
all right, thank you, Mayor. So this is kind of different. We're looking for ways to save money now, and I think a decision of this magnitude should not just be on the employees of the city, but it should be on the council. So we're proposing to not replace the pavement on Norris Street, which is a small street that runs between Jefferson and Grant. The proposed change will remove around 869 square yards of paving, 264 square yards of sidewalk, and 2 intakes of the Norris Street right-of-way. Parts of the Norris Street right-of-way would be gravelled back in to provide access for a house on the street and also for the sanitary trunk sewer that we're constructing in the area. So this is the Norris Street neighborhood. There's only 2 lots on the entire street that are actually privately owned and actually that haven't been abandoned yet. There's I can't really see my laser pointer, but there it is. Right, that house is occupied, and what we're proposing is to pave up to that house. They have a gravel driveway right here, and they would have gravel up to their house. And then this lot right here is also privately owned. So this lot on the bottom right here is privately owned as well. They would still have access off Grant Street. And as you'll see on the next slide, we'll have. Yeah. There's one on top here, that's privately owned, and there's one down here that's still privately owned.
Yeah, you have the block number of Norris on that?
I believe it's your lot.
Is it 600 block?
I don't remember the block
No,
number.
show me what Jefferson Street is.
Jefferson Street's up here in the corner.
Okay, and you said Grant Street?
Grant Street's right along here.
Okay, so that house, what of that house is top?
This one up here.
I think that's an 8, that should be like the 700 block of Norris Street. If you're going toward that old I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
Can we have Director complete his presentation and then we can have some questions? Yeah, thanks.
The lot up here is owned by the city. These 3 lots here are owned by the city. All 5 of these lots have been abandoned in some state or another since anywhere from the 90s to the 2000s when the tax certificates were sold. And then these 2 lots here are also, which aren't directly related to this, but they're also have taxes delinquent on them. And there's 3 lots over here facing Grant that don't abut to Norris that are also, those are owned by the school. So this is Grove Street. If you go back here on the far right-hand side of the picture, you see a street running up and down. That's Grove Street. It's also gravelled. There's no pavement on that street as well, and it's just a dead-end street that has alleys on the end. So that's just to show like it's not abnormal in the neighborhood to have a gravel street. This is a drone picture we took. So that black and red line right through the middle of it, that's the Lakes Branch trunk sewer. And so, hard to see that laser. There's the Lakes Branch trunk sewer running through there. This fold line is the new trunk sewer, and it runs up this way. And then there's a smaller line that runs behind Jefferson Street to service these houses back here. We would pave it with concrete up to this last alley intersection. There's Ogden Street right here, pave it up to here, and we'd gravel an alleyway over the top of the trunk sewer in order to maintain access to that. And we'd also gravel this alley back here in order to maintain access and be able to service the sewer line back there. The anticipated savings is $110,000. In red in the picture here is the pavement and sidewalk that will be removed from the project. Blue is the blue on the left-hand side is the sidewalk that we have to put in to continue that sidewalk to not interrupt it where North Street used to be. And then blue is the gravel that would be put back in over the alleyway. So again, it's $110,000 savings. So in conclusion, the savings for the project is about $110,000. We place a gravel alley with a new trunk sanitary sewer so it can be accessed for cleaning and televising. One house would have 50 feet of gravel road to get to the gravel driveway they have. And then Norris would no longer be a through street. So it would affect some people in the neighborhood. They wouldn't have as short of access to Grant Street as they do now from the north, but you can follow Jefferson Street and turn left on Grant Street as well. You're going maybe 2 blocks out of your way. And then the street can still be rebuilt if and when the area is redeveloped. Because like if you look at this area, so that trunk sewer, you can't build an apartment building over top of it. So by having Norris there, if you ever want to put multifamily or anything here, that street kind of, so we thought, don't put anything back now. If anybody ever buys up all those lots that are delinquent, if the city ever gets rid of their lots, maybe somebody wants to put something in there that we don't need a through street for. But as of right now, I don't think it's needed. But I guess it's putting on your guys' lap on whether the savings are worth the decreased access to some of those lots.
Where are the school lots on this picture?
Right there are the school lots.
Okay.
That's that privately owned lot at Norris and Grant.
Okay.
There's the house right there. So the pavement would stop here. They'd have a gravel alley going all the way past the front of their house. But from their driveway here up to there, there'd be a short section of gravel. And then the city owns all these lots here. And like I said, these lots that are forested over, they've been abandoned for years. Yeah. And the same with these lots right here. They've been abandoned for years too.
So that house right there, would they have to plow their own gravel from?
No, we would plow past their driveway.
Okay.
And we'd plow that it's still a named street, so we'd plow that as a street and not wait until we do alleyways. We plow that when we plowed Norris Street.
Okay.
And then that lot right here, there's like a paper alley coming off of here, which this lot would still have access to the back of their lot too from this gravel alleyway. they wouldn't have to, you know, they still have access to both sides of the lot.
So on that lot, is there a structure on that lot right now? Because I'm
No,
not,
the one with the black on it right there.
right,
No, there's no.
okay.
There's nothing. It's maintained. It's mowed regularly, but there's no structures on it right now.
What's the condition of Norris Street right now?
It's being completely, well, you can see it's tore out.
Yeah,
From here north, it's been torn out. Well, from here to here, it's been torn out completely.
sure.
We're going to finish tearing this out this spring, and this is going to be tore out eventually, either to replace it or to put it back in as grass.
Right, okay. I would entertain if there's any questions from the public that wants to ask Director Bergmeyer. Please come to, yeah, hold on. Yeah, come to the podium and then I want you to state your name and address for the record, please.
Phil? Floyd Hendred, 622 Norris Street, Ottumwa, Iowa. I've got a question for Phil. On that condition of Norris Street, from Center Avenue to Grant Street, the pavement is still intact. Is that correct? From Center Avenue to Grant Street?
That's on the other side.
Okay. And then from Grant Street to Jefferson Street, that's where the pavement is being removed. Is that correct?
That's
I just
what's
wanted to get
proposed,
clarification
correct.
on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions of me?
Any questions? All right, thank you. Any other questions from council? Chris, take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
Resolution number 41, 2026, approving the Des Moines River Flood Protection Operation Plan, February 2026. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 41, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Director Bergmeyer.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So the City of Ottumwa Local Flood Protection Operations Plan outlines the coordination of the city departments and establishes an effective command structure and assigns responsibilities during elevated river levels and flood emergencies. The manual includes specific action items based on river levels. It also outlines the minimum standard maintenance requirements and which departments has primary responsibility for its inspection and documentation requirements. This update, this February 2026 plan updates contact lists with current personnel. It also includes an update to the operations plan to stockpile and place material on the lowest portions of the levees if greater than 100-year flood is forecast. So the contact list is just a routine thing. We have a new mayor, we have a new fire chief. So we updated contact lists and phone numbers for everybody. One of the engineering techs called every number with the USA Army Corps of Engineers, made sure those numbers are up to date. So we updated every contact and every number we needed to update. The operational update was kind of at the request of, not the request, but after conversations with John Deere. There's a section of the south side levee next to Black Lake that's lower than the rest of it. So they asked what we would do if river levels ever got higher than 100-year flood. And I said, well, we'd fight it as long as we could. And we were looking at the south side levee, and that was the lowest part. So we wanted to codify that, yeah, if a forecasted greater than 100-year flood is called out or is made by the Corps of Engineers, that we would stockpile material in order to reinforce the lowest sections to keep fighting the flood until we couldn't.
Is that area you're talking about at the end of Vine Street?
Yes. Yeah. Just if you go to the end of Vine Street and turn down river,
Right.
it's that section between Black Lake and the river.
Well, I'm glad there's somebody thinking about this, even though we don't ever want to use it, but I'm glad you're thinking about it and getting it, keeping it up to date. That's very good.
Okay.
Any other questions from council? Chris, take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre,
Yes.
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the part on the agenda where it's a public forum, so this will be open to anyone who wants to speak on a non-agenda item. And if you'd like to do that, then you can come forward. Again, state your name and address. I remind you that that doesn't mean that council or myself will be able to respond, but this is your chance to speak. Okay, not seeing any. I will open it up to city council for any reports or comments that you guys have.
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone, and then also businesses, whether you're downtown or not, that on March 13th, downtown is having their putting around downtown. So if you have a team that would like to sign up, it starts at 3. But if you're a business and you would like to design a hole, again, whether you're a downtown business or not, or you want to design a hole, being a non-downtown business, Chris will work with you to find a spot. So again, March 13th, putting around downtown.
Anyone else?
What's the name of this thing that you're advertising?
Putting around downtown.
Putting around?
Mhm.
Downtown.
As a golf
Do I have to bring my
enthusiast,
own
I will
club?
be there.
No, but if you want to use your own club, I'm going to charge you for it.
Oh, good, thank you.
Yeah, no
Mr.
problem.
Cavanis, I have one for you if you'd like.
I'm going to charge you for that one too. So.
Anything else from council?
Yes, the Parks Department will be pouring a new cement slab in the veterans area of the campground located near the new shower area this week. And then in the following week, they plan to place a new memorial bench in honor of Hank Harper, who worked for the Parks Department and passed away last October. He'd been, I believe, a longtime Parks employee, and he's missed. And they will be announcing when they're going to be setting that bench, so anyone who wants to attend can attend that.
Thank you.
Can you repeat most of that? Speak right into the microphone so I can hear you.
All right, the Parks Department will be pouring a new cement slab in the veterans area of the campground located near the new shower area this week. The following week, they will be placing a new memorial bench in honor of Hank Harper, who passed away last October. He was a Parks employee and is missed.
Thank
They
you.
will be announcing what date that is, so anyone who wants to attend can be there.
Okay, I have two things. One, if you are on a board or commission, newly appointed, and you receive an email that has an invoice of north of $3,000, that is false. There's an email scam that came up with one of our recent appointees this week. So I just wanted to make that clear. That is not from us. We don't charge you $3,000 to be on the board or commission yet. So the other thing, I was excited to be able to go to Ottumwa Regional Health Center today. They opened up a new MRI, a beautiful piece of equipment. So it's good to see that. Now they have the ability to do MRI scans that they've never been able to do before, ones that people would have to go to other medical facilities like Iowa City or Des Moines can be done right here at home. So that was exciting to be a part of. So yeah, I want to publicly thank CEO Richard Bergman and then Raquel Alderman for inviting me to that. That was real exciting to see. If you get a chance, yeah, go check it out. Just take the keys out of your pocket. Yeah, take the keys out of your pocket. So yeah. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Chris, take the roll, please.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Dupre?
Yes.
Councilmember Cavanis?
Yes.
I did.